About 2 years ago, guys, let me make sure everything's working. I'm coming through. Almost 2 years ago, I was doing a Firefly review in December, and I dedicated that video to my mother when she passed. And this video is dedicated to my aunt that passed away this week. I was going to cancel the show, but decided not to. I did take off work today, and wanted to just dedicate this one to my aunt Wanda Carroll. Before she got married, it was Wanda Ludwig. She was my mother's sister. It was the one place I went when my family went to Michigan to see my brother. I would go over there for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So everyone, say a prayer for her. Don't mean to start the video out like that. I didn't think that I would get choked up there, but when I thought about it, but I did. So, to get back on track, guys, this is our Fender Player. And, let's start over. Get all straightened out here. This is our Fender Player that we received for our guitar giveaway. And before I go too much further, not only is the video dedicated to my aunt, I want to thank Shenandoah Music in Winchester, Virginia for really stepping up to the bat and allowing us to purchase this guitar for $500. Well below what the guitar is actually worth. When I told them what we were doing, they were like, yeah, heck yeah, let's get you a decent guitar for that $500. They are some Fender nuts over there. They've carried Fender for many years. Now they do have other guitars. They sell Ibanez, Jackson, Schecter. Sorry, my nose is running after all that. But I do want to thank them for allowing our members that donated the money to purchase this guitar for $500, and that was with tax and everything. So, stupid good deal. we are giving this guitar away. So if you're just stopping in wondering what this channel is all about, we do guitar reviews. We also, well, I'd say we're more of an inspection channel. This is not a demo channel. We don't just grab the guitar, play a couple of things to it, and say it's great. We've reviewed guitars that had fit and finishes, but the guitar played great and sounded great. We've also had guitars that looked beautiful, but just sounded awful. So we try to cover everything in our reviews. That way you know what you're purchasing. In this one, we're going to look at this guitar and do a really good inspection on it. And to enter to win this guitar, all you have to be is publicly subscribed to the channel, and you have to go to the Discord and put your name in the opt-in room for the guitar giveaway. Okay, and then Devastator will put your name on the list. The amount of entries is very low to win this guitar. So when we hit that very low number, someone's going to be lucky enough to get this beautiful instrument. I did play a little bit at the beginning, and that was actually the 5th position that we were playing. Just to give you a little taste of the 4th position, everyone says that's the magic position for a Strat. My nose just will not stop running now. Okay, we are going to look at this guitar. Get my bench over here. I am going to take my headphones off. And if I sniffle a lot, I'm sure I'll stop once my sinuses clear up from getting choked up. So if you're familiar with the channel, the first thing I like to do is I like to just kind of go over the general fit and finish of the guitar. And I do have some radius gauges over here. Oh my gosh, my poor nose now. So I have a 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4, and 1/8. So I want to kind of look at the round over here. Yeah, that's a very large round over. So on this section of the guitar, it is a 1/2 inch round over, and it does appear to get a little tighter right here. That's about 3/8 through here, and right there is where it starts to go back to a 1/2 inch round over. So it is a very large round over on the front of the guitar, and it has a arm carve right here. It has the typical belly carve most Strats have. Exact same round over through here. Of course, this round over right here does get a little tighter, and they've broken this edge on the belly carve. Right here, it thins down, and they've went to about an 1/8 inch round over right there. It's going to be hard to measure that one because of the plate. Actually, it's going to be a little smaller than an 1/8. That's probably 3/32. It's a little larger than a 1/16. But it is a typical Strat right here. This is square. They haven't chamfered part of this body right here. So this is a full thickness body right here. The finish on the guitar is a high gloss, and it is extremely smooth. I forget what the name of this color was. It's like a buttercream, I believe is the name of it. It's quite pretty. I don't know if the lights are doing that color justice or not. It's a pretty color. Looking at our pick guard, it's a 3-ply pick guard. Anytime you do multiple plies, it's going to be much stronger than a single ply. So this one, being a 3-ply, goes white, black, white. Okay, and we have it screwed into the top of the body, and I just want to feel the screws. I don't feel anything sharp on the screws. They all feel pretty good. Feeling the screws on the pickups. Now the single coil pickups and the humbucker pickup have two different types of screws. And those screws do not match the screws in the pick guard. My apologies again. Hopefully my nose will stop running after getting choked up. But the 2 screws, or the 4 screws that are used to hold the single coils, appear to be the same screws in the 5-way selector switch. I just think it looks nicer if it has the exact same head screw across it. I'm super finicky. Some people say anal. That's fine. I just think it looks nice if all the hardware matches. It doesn't look bad, but they are different size screw heads. Looking at our jack right here, it's the typical Fender. Feeling this in here, I don't feel any sharp edges, and the screws feel good. Looking at the jack itself, part of the jack where the nut goes in, I always like it if only about a 32nd of an inch of that jack is sticking out and they've tightened it. This one actually has a good 1/8 of an inch sticking out to where the nut is. Is that a big deal? No, I just think it looks a little better if the nut is pushed out even. That's just me. Looking at our bridge, this is a steel stamped saddle bridge. It is a Fender branded bridge, and it has 2 very large flathead screws right here that adjust the height, and those are set into brass inserts. Okay, now the screws on the saddles themselves do stick way out of the saddles. That was really the first thing I noticed when I looked at the guitar, was how far the screws were sticking out of the saddles. Would it pass the sock test? No, it would not. Are they sharp? I don't think it's going to cut you, but it's definitely going to drag the sock. There's a couple of them, like the high E one. It's definitely got something going on. There's 2 or 3 that have like a little burr or something on them. But it's not so bad to where it's uncomfortable for my palm to set on. But you can see it is leaving some white marks. The intonation screws on the back, they feel really nice. And the thickness of the steel plate on the bridge is quite thick. It actually looks like a nice bridge. Even though it's a steel stamped saddle, the material looks nice, if that makes sense. It doesn't look thrown together, I guess, or cheap. It does look nice. Oh, I apologize so much, guys. Now, something I noticed on the humbucker on this guitar, and maybe I've seen it in the past and I just don't remember, this humbucker uses 3 screws. Most humbuckers only have 2, and the humbucker will rock back and forth like this. Fender has used 3 screws, so this humbucker cannot rock back and forth. These 2 will adjust this direction and this direction, and then the 3 will raise and lower the pickup. That's kind of cool. I actually like that. It's a pretty firm mounting situation there. I do like that. Looking at our single coils, there's very little movement in them, and what movement there is, they do return back to 0. And there's very little gap between the pickguard and the pickup itself. It's nice. Looking at our volume and tone pots, they all appear to be the exact same distance off the body. Feeling them, they all feel the same. Sometimes your tone and volume, one will be smoother, well not smoother, less friction, one will be firmer feeling. All three of these feel exactly the same. They do feel smooth. They don't feel any scratchiness at all in any of them. They feel nice. Here's our 5-way switch. This feels like a quality switch. I have not had the pickguard off the guitar, but each position feels nice and solid. And side to side play. Wow, check that out. There's almost zero side to side play. It might move a 32nd of an inch at the top, and I'm forcing it. That's a nice switch. Probably the best switch I've seen as far as side to side deflection. Now, the neck itself, it is maple. And this is a one-piece maple. One solid chunk of maple. So the fretboard is not glued on. Okay, here's a skunk stripe. That's where they put the truss rod in. Sometimes they'll still use two pieces, and they put this in as a decorative. Looking at it here, there is no seam where they've applied the fingerboard, and I can see the grain of the wood going up from the fingerboard back into the neck. So it is a one-piece neck. There is no volute, but it does have a slight shoulder where the neck kicks out just a little bit for the offset of the headstock. Feeling our nut. To the side of the guitar, it's perfect. The only thing I can tell is it's higher than the side when I close my eyes. I cannot feel any transition there. It's nicely done. We actually have, I don't know if that's ebony or some type of engineered material that's around the truss rod hole. I like that look. It's very pretty. I just think it dresses it up a little bit. Looking at our tuners, they are Fender branded tuners. I don't think I would call that a Clouson style. It's like a square Rotomatic or Schaller type. It's very square here. Turning the tuners, and because I've had the guitar a couple weeks, I've played it a little bit. The tuners are very responsive, very smooth. I do think the gear ratio is on the low side. So when I'm fine tuning, I've noticed I wish it was a little higher ratio to get that fine tuning, because there are no fine tuners down here. So you're fine tuning with these. If I had to guess, they're probably 16-1, somewhere in that ballpark, 15-1 tuners. I am completely guessing. If someone wants to look it up, it doesn't seem like they're 18-1. They seem like it doesn't take much of a rotation for it to affect the tuner, but they do feel very, very smooth. We do have one string tree right here, and that's it. And feeling the back of the neck, it's like a satin. It does have a finish on it. The finish is very, very, very smooth. But I'm not sure by the feel of it. Sometimes I can kind of tell if you sweat if this neck would be sticky. I can't say whether it would or wouldn't. It could be one of the necks that if you sweat a lot that it may drag a little bit. You may have to go over this if you're one of those type players with some 2000 grit sandpaper and put a coat of tried and true on it so that wouldn't happen. If this was my guitar, I would do that anyway. But some people don't like sanding on the guitar neck. But everything through here, everything just feels butter smooth. It's a really nice neck profile too. It doesn't feel chunky. It is thicker than my Ibanez guitars or my Schecter, but it's not Gibson thick. It kind of feels like this would be a little thinner than the 60s Fender's neck. And now I'm not meaning that it's thick. It's a thin neck. It's just not Schecter Ibanez thin, if that makes sense. We do have placement dots on the top of the neck right here. And we have placement dots going down the fingerboard. Looking at the frets on the guitar are very smooth. The guitar feels nice playing it. I don't feel any scratch whatsoever. The sides of the frets, I would say the sides of the frets would most likely pass the sock test without scratching it. I do feel a couple spots right through here, but they're not sharp. I'm just kind of, it would definitely, this is definitely a 4.5 out of 5. 5 being the best as far as the feel. Now, everyone knows I really pay attention to the fret dressing. And if you're expecting a high-end fret dressing on this guitar, you're going to be disappointed. It is just a standard chamfered fret that they've broken the edge around the chamfer to the top of the fret, sanded it, and then polished it. So it's just a very standard fret dressing. But I'm going to say at this price point, it is well done. The frets feel really nice. They really do. I don't feel any fret sprout whatsoever. They feel good. But I'm still going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Trying to think if there was anything else we missed on the fit. Oh, we do want to check the pick guard and make sure it's not rattling or. Kind of hard to tell if there's a swimming pool route because this is a 3-ply pick guard. But it feels quite solid up here. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. But the pick guard seems to be down tight and does not vibrate and carry on. Our rear cover, again, it's 3-ply, white, black to white. And again, it's very solidly mounted to the guitar. And our rear cover plate, very smooth. It does have a abrupt side where this has just been tumbled in a tumbler. The edge is not broken, but it is not sharp. So this part was machined, tumbled, and then plated. Filling the screws. Screws feel good, and it has an etched F in the plate. It's a beautiful guitar. The grain on the neck, everything about it, it's just very pretty. It's a sharp looking guitar. The chrome and everything on it, you can tell it's not budget grade. Yeah, I review budget guitars. The chrome can be shiny, but it's like the plating is very thin. The plating on even this jack right here, in here, it just looks a little better. Just a little better. And the tremolo plating looks nice. The jack, a little better. Exact same thing with the tuning keys. It's just a little better. Okay, being that this guitar is no longer made, I didn't really take the time to see if I could find the spec sheet on it. So we were going to do everything manually, and you guys can throw popcorn at the screen if I'm wrong or what the factory claims is not what this guitar is. So we're going to start out with our imperial gauge, and I want to look at the action height on the 12th on the low E. So our low E's is set, I can see the line under the string at 0.060. So that's actually pretty low. Our high E, I'm going to say is 0.055, maybe 575. I see a little bit of a space between the top of the string and the bottom of the string and the gauge, or the top, you know, the line. So we're going to say 0.057, 0.058. And for you metric guys, really trying to do both because I do mix the two. In metric, I can just barely see the line under the high E or low E at 1.5 millimeters. And I see the line above the string on the high E at 1.5. So that should give you a pretty good idea of the factory action height. Now, feeling these frets, I've played some Fenders in my time. I've had 2 Fender Americans, but I remember them having pretty small frets. So I want to look at the height of the fret. We're going to use our calibers. We're going to get a height of the fret. So these frets are miking out at 0.94 millimeters. Okay. And let's get a width of the fret. And the width is 2.55 millimeters. It's a decent sized fret. I guess they would call that like a jumbo. It's not, or a medium jumbo. They feel nice. They have some meat on them. Let's look at our relief, the way the guitar was sent to me. This guitar does have a little relief. I'm going to say it's probably at 0.3 millimeters, maybe 0.2 millimeters. Just a little bit of relief. That's about where I set my relief on my personal guitars. I know a lot of people want their neck perfectly straight, but I usually set my guitars up with just a little bit of relief. Okay, what else do we have here, guys? We want to look at the neck radius. This guitar feels quite traditional. So I've got my 12. I'm going to set my 12 out there. It's probably not a 17. There's a 7.25. There's a 10. It's not going to be a 20. 15. 16. Looking for my, there's my 9.5. I'm going to try a 9.5 first. And that looks really good. Let's go up top. Looks to be a 9.5, but just to be sure, here's my 725. No. So I'll set the 12 aside. Here's our 10. And it's going to be really hard to tell. Nope, I see just a little bit of a gap on either side of the gauge. So this guitar is this gauge right here. 9.5 on the radius. Okay, let's get some pickup readings. And I'm definitely going to have to change the battery on this because it has been in here for a long time. I'm going to start this. I was getting ready to say I'm going to go to start and it's not going to cut on. But it cut on. Where can I set this to where you guys can see it? Can you? Oh, you can't see that, can you? Okay, I'll just have to hold it. Alright, in our bridge position, 20 k ohms, we have 7.56. Our inductance, Henry's, 3.77. Second position, 20 k ohm is 2.59. Henry's or inductance is 0.99. Wow, that's Third position, 20 k ohm. We got 7.79. Inductance in Henry's, 2.15. Fourth position, 20 k ohm, it's 3.84. Henry's, 1.11 inductance. And our very top pickup, our neck, 20 k ohm, 7.37 at 2. These pickups test really well. But keep in mind, guys, these are numbers. I always tell people, you know, get used to looking at what you like, and it'll give you a reference. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to like them. These pickups should be extremely warm sounding, especially second, third, fourth, and fifth. The humbucker was only at 7 something, if I remember correctly, which is a pretty low output for a humbucker. Let's go back and look at that. So the humbucker's only at 7.56. Well, we're getting that pretty much out of that single coil. So our single coil is 737 and 2 even on inductance. And our humbucker is 7.56 and 376. So that's definitely going to be a little brighter, according to this. But you know, like I said, these are just numbers. So don't go out and go, oh wow, the inductance is 1 and I got an 18 on the other. These are going to be great. They're numbers. Some people are really into it. That's why I give you both. Some people will go, well, I just want the ohms. Or, you know, it means nothing without the inductance or the Henrys. So I do listen to you guys, and I try to give you that information. There are other readings that a true pickup person will look at, but it gets just too nerdy, if that makes sense. We want to do deep dive videos, but we don't need to get crazy with it. Okay, I'm going to go over intonation next. We want to see how well is the guitar intonated from the factory. And here I would really not like to hold the tuner. Okay, we can do it like that. And I'll actually just have to look at the screen because I can't see it right there. I'm gonna scoot forward. Remember, this is a live review, guys, and this is a channel on a budget. So there's our E. I'm gonna tune it just a little bit. High E on the 12th. It's kind of uncomfortable for me right there. I'm gonna misread. All right. There's high E. High E on the 12th. And we can see it's just a fraction sharp. There's our open note. First fretted note. And our F is a little sharp as well. So taking that high E down a little bit, I like to set my intonation a little on the flat side if I can. And that would help the first fretted note. Here's our A. A on the 12th. That one's almost spot on. There's our open, first fretted note, and just a fraction sharp. There's our D. D on the 12th. And that's pretty much spot on as well. Open. First fretted note. And just a fraction sharp. Here's our G. G on the 12th. Again, spot on. First fretted note on the G. And our G sharp is sharp. There's our B. Open. 12th. I'd say our B is spot on as well. First fretted note on the B. That is extremely good. There's our high E. Twelfth. The intonation on this guitar is pretty good. There's our F. And very rarely will you see your first fretted note on the flat side. And there's proof that it can happen. So in reality, it's just the top E and A Are they out a lot? No, they're not out much. Is it worth fixing? Let's check it again real quick. Twelfth. Yeah, I think I would adjust that saddle. Is it horrible? No, it's not horrible, but it is out. And there's our A. Most people wouldn't touch the A, but since you just played with the E, why not? Just go ahead. So those are the only two strings that are just out just a fraction. All in all, I'd say the factory setup on this guitar is extremely good. The action height is set, in my opinion, for a 9.5 inch radius to get that low on the action, that's good. The more radius you have on the neck, the harder it is to get this action low, because as you bend up, the fret is higher here than it is here. So as you bend up, it chokes the note off. That's why shredders like flat necks. 7.5 guitar is the hardest guitar to do a really nice low action setup on. It's extremely difficult. So I want to turn the guitar over here. I am not going to unscrew the pickup top plate because it's a Fender and you got to peel back the electronics and all that and kind of peek in there. And since this is a live review, it's just going to be too hard for me to get a camera angle in there for you guys to see it. But we will pop the back cover off and check out the tremolo block, and we'll look at the ground wire. And if I haven't said it already, this is our giveaway guitar. So we are giving this guitar away to a subscriber. You do have to be publicly subscribed to the channel, and you have to go to the Discord server and just put your name in the opt-in room for the guitar giveaway. And pretty much that's just so Devastator can track you. And if your Discord name is different than your YouTube name, please tell us what your YouTube name is so he can verify that you're publicly subscribed. So looking in here at the route,
you got a $5 super chat from Devastator.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Devastator, for the super chat. That's what makes the channel operate. The route in this guitar is extremely clean. That's nice routing. I see zero burn in the rounded corners and a very slight hint of a step over. It's just barely there. So that's nice. Nice programming, nice sharp tooling. It's nicely done. I don't see any step down marks in this route, and it is extremely crisp. That is a crisp job. Looking at our claw, it's a little thicker than your average claw. The solder joint was definitely at temperature, and this guitar actually has a pretty decent sized block, and they have chose to bring the springs in like that. So it actually has a pretty decent size block on that tremolo. Routing looks nice. It's nice to see that.
You got a super chat from Mikey.
Ooh. Thank you, Mikey. And if you can't tell, tonight Linnell does not have a microphone because I have both of them set here. Solely because as I'm doing the review, I'm this direction, and I wanted the audio to be decent for everyone. No matter which direction I am turning and speaking, the two microphones should do a pretty decent job of picking me up. And since this is live, of course I can't go into squirrel mode, but I also can't hide anything from you guys. And everyone knows this channel was started to offset all the guitar channels on YouTube that do reviews. Believe me, I'm not the only channel on YouTube doing good reviews. There are some other channels on YouTube that do really good reviews. But we started this channel to offset the budget guitar reviews.
We got a super chat from Tigger Mommy.
Tigger Mommy. That one sounds familiar. I think he's been in the live before.
Tigger Mommy?
Yeah, I think. Or her. I think I've seen that name before. Thank you so much for the super chats. That is what runs the channel. Because ad revenue, have you gotten an ad? No. I turn them off. If you're here, if you're willing to watch this live, I'm willing to just let donations run it, if that makes sense. After the chat window is processed by YouTube, it's usually 2 days later, I do turn on the monetize. So you can make just a little bit, but YouTube doesn't pay that well.
It's Devastator's daughter.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw a post or something, or maybe another live stream that she had posted on. I wasn't sure. Okay, guys, I think we have pretty much looked at everything. Oh, you know what? I'm always, every time I do a review, I forget certain things. So since this is a guitar without a locking nut, we can loosen the strings. And I can give you some neck thicknesses, because it's not that hard to retune this guitar. You're probably like, well, you should have done that when you were looking at the neck. You're right. So let's get a thickness at the first. At the first fret, we have 21.52. At our 12th fret, we have 22.74. And to get a width on our nut, .61 at the 12th. .17 and our very last fret down at the base of the neck, we have 55.86. One last thing. we need to weigh the guitar. Take the cord out. Now to do this, I do have to remove the cover off the stand. It does affect the reading. So pound ounces. We have 8 pounds, 1.7 ounces. And in grams, that's 3,676. No, 3,674 grams. It just switched. The beauty of a live stream. Okay, guys, I am going to take a 5-minute recess, and when we come back, we're going to listen to some sounds on this guitar. Again, all of this is possible due to the people. If you're on a phone, it's going to be down below the screen. The people you see donating super chats, that's what purchased this guitar, and those people have agreed to give this guitar away. It's what runs the channel. It's what allows us to do what we do. I can't thank them enough for that. And if you haven't noticed, you don't have to be subscribed to chat. Okay? I want you to come in, feel free to communicate with everyone. There's good people here. But to enter to win, you do have to be a subscriber. But I'm not limiting you to come in and forcing you to subscribe to participate, if that makes sense. Who?
Gabriel, Devastator's son.
Ooh, Gabriel, thank you. And Gabriel, I hope you're enjoying that Firefly, buddy. And if you don't know, Gabriel got one of our guitars that was set up here and did a review on. There's a lot of people in the chat that have sent guitars or bought guitars or won guitars that we've done reviews on and setups on. We're trying to build a community here, and that's just something that I do. No commercials during the live. I'm not forcing you to be a subscriber. To give the guitar away, yeah, that needs to go to a subscriber. I don't think that's asking for too much. It really isn't. And you got great odds to win this guitar. Again, this is our giveaway guitar. Publicly subscribe to this channel and go to Discord and put your name in the lottery in the opt-in room. And that's it. You could be the proud owner of a Fender Stratocaster. We'll be right back after 5 minutes. Okay, at the very beginning, I did play the guitar a little bit. That was actually with a little bit of distortion. Believe it or not, there was just a little gain on that. So we want to take a couple steps back and let's listen to the guitar on the clean channel. So I'm going to go completely clean. Ooh, I guess we got to tune it up. Maybe I should have done that during the break. We had all the strings loose, didn't we? Only in a live show. You would have thought I would have remembered that. Gives new meaning to the name drop tuning. Hard to see the tuner. This is a floating bridge. So we'll have to see how well it does since I dropped it out of tune that far and then brought it up quick. You know, the tuners actually work pretty good. I know I was picking on them earlier. They could be a higher ratio. I play so many different guitars, it's kind of hard to get a grasp. They could possibly be 18-1, just playing with it right there. Okay, the bridge on the guitar is a little brighter. Now this tone here controls just the bridge. This tone controls these two pickups. So if you roll our tone back a little bit. That's your open chords. Tone back a little bit more. nice sounding. You have to remember to roll your tones back a little bit. I'm going to punch my microphone up a little bit since I'm standing back a little bit. It's just me here controlling it, so hopefully I'm not overgaining right there. So as we roll the tone all the way up, you can definitely tell it is a little brighter, but still a very usable sound. So let's go up to our second position. Let's do some open chords. And there is a definite volume difference. I'm not changing the volume, that's what it does. Let's roll our tone back a little bit. Let's go up to our third position, turn our tone all the way up again. Open chords. cut our tone back a little bit. Up to the Stratocaster's magical position, some people call it the fourth position. Let's do some open chords. Let's roll the tone back in the fourth position. I love the fourth position on a Strat. up to our 5th position. Turn our tone up. Do some open chords. It's nice and warm sounding. All in all, it's a Stratocaster, it's a Fender. Of course it sounds good. We're going to go over to our lead channel. Do we have something going on?
They want you to use the wiggle stick too.
Oh, wiggle stick. Well, I got to find the wiggle stick. 1 second, guys, I got to get the wiggle stick. We've got a request for the wiggle stick. I actually don't think I've ever used the wiggle stick in the guitar yet. One wiggle stick. Now I do not have the spring that goes under the tremolo. So I will have to source one of those springs for this guitar for the person who wins it. There should be a little spring down in the tremolo, and that takes some of the slop out of the bar. I guess we'll see how it responds to the wiggle stick. can tell I'm not used to the location. And the bar, this is just me, I'm used to a Floyd. Down here, it sits really close to the body. It sets up here. So it changes position on the guitar. If you could see that, it sits really low. So for me, being used to a Cale or a Floyd, it's falling in a spot where I'm not used to. And here it seems a little high. Seems to do okay. It's not a locking tremolo, so you can't abuse it. So if you can't tell, I did switch the amp over to a little bit of a gain channel. And we're just going to do the same thing I always do. It gives you guys a reference of what this guitar sounds like through our little $325 Yamaha amp. I'm coming out of the headphone jack and going directly to the interface. That's our first position. Going to our second position. Up to our third position. Up to our fourth position. up to our 5th position. Sounds really good. And if you know the channel, of course we have to play a little high gain through it. It is a Fender Strat, but I'm sure it will survive. Just a little out. I think that one string right here might need just a Yep, I think just a little bit of nut work on that one string. The rest of it. Let's check it. We did do quite a bit of demo, but let's just check it with the tuner. So our E, everything is falling off about 4 cents on our low E. About the same on the high, on the A. It seems to be the G, and believe it or not, that's pretty typical. The G is notorious for causing issues on many guitars. This one doesn't seem to do too bad though. It's not slipping enough to where I would overly worry about it. On this one, I would probably just put some nut lube on it since it only slipped that little bit. That's probably all I would do with the guitar. I don't think I would file the nut since it's only slipping that fraction of amount. Alright. So I'm going to do the exact same thing I always do. It gives you a reference of what this guitar sounds like in a high gain situation. That's bridge. Here's our second position. Third position. Fourth position. Up to our fifth position. Guitar sounds pretty good. We're going to go backwards and just do some basic lead work, starting the fifth. Down to our fourth position. Third position. Second position. cool sounding guitar. Down to our very first position, just the humbucker. The only issue I have with a Strat is I have to play a Strat a little different, and it makes me make mistakes. It's not the guitar, it's me. It's where the volume knob is located. So I find myself scooting forward and holding my wrist up higher and picking out. I think I could get used to it, but I find myself playing just a little different on a Strat. See right there, I wanted to move my wrist back, but when I do that, I always hit the volume knob. Pretty abusive on it with that tremolo. It's out a little bit. Definitely that string right there. So let's check it one more time. So our E again is out about 4 cents. Not much, just barely turning it. A about 3 cents. The D just a fraction. Our G about 3 cents. Our B is spot on. And our high E is just a fraction high. Again, I think just lubing the nut would be what this guitar needs. Okay, I'm not gonna bore you guys with any more demo. As everyone knows, this technically isn't a demo channel. We try to do thorough reviews, and part of that is playing clean, crunch, and some high gain tones. Keeps everybody happy. For the nerdy people, we did do inductance, ohms, henrys, all that neat stuff on the pickups. We looked at the frets. We looked at the neck radius. We gave the specs of the width of the neck and the thickness of the neck. We looked at the neck relief. I've talked about the tuners. I think the tuners feel really nice on this guitar. They, you know, they feel smooth. And tuning it just now, I'm not seeing an issue like I mentioned earlier. The ratio seems good enough to do fine tuning, so we're good there. The bridge feels very smooth, but I do not have the spring for the tremolo bar, so it is a little sloppy. And I don't know if you thread that in even more, if it gets a little better. See there, it gets tight. No, it needs the spring. So if you're unaware, this is our giveaway guitar. If you're just tuning in, you can win this guitar 100% free. All you have to do is be publicly subscribed to Music and Gear and go to our Discord server and go to the opt-in room for the giveaway and put your name and put your YouTube name. And then Devastator's going to verify that you're publicly subscribed, and that's it. You're entered to win. You got stupid odds on winning this beautiful Fender Player 1. Go back, listen to the demo if you're just now checking in. It's a great sounding guitar. It's a working man's guitar. You can get a bunch of different sounds out of it. The fit and finish on the guitar is good. We went over the neck, the skunk stripe. It is a one-piece neck. I don't think, you know, we can go over too much more than that. We did give a weight in the video, and I'm not going to go over everything. That's your all's job to go back, look at the video. I think we did a very thorough review on this guitar. That's what this channel's about, to let you know how this instrument is. Weight does change, 100%. Intonation can change from guitar to guitar. But the overall finish of the guitar and what to expect on the frets and stuff, that's what this review is about. This is probably what you can expect from a Fender product at the $850 to $900 price range, which that's what the Fender Player 2s are at. I think this guitar was like $329 new, or not $329, $829 new. The Player 2s are just, they've went up a little bit. Fender's had some price increases. So I'm going to leave it right here, and that's going to be it for tonight. Normally, sometimes we go back and we do another live stream, but we've done a pretty thorough review. We've been on for about 2 hours doing this review, so it's a decent review. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It takes a tremendous amount of time and preparation to do these reviews, and as you can tell, the channel's growing. Everything that you guys do, leaving comments after the video, hitting the little thumbs up buttons, emojis, super chats, all that stuff really helps YouTube push this channel out for new people to find it. We're trying to be the diamond in the rough on YouTube. Trying to be something different, somewhere where you can go and get an honest opinion, or just watch the review and form your own opinion. You're the one purchasing it. Again, if you've bought one of these guitars, you know, a Fender Player, and you've had a completely different experience or yours came differently, I need you to post down below, because the channel's about product information. That's what it's here. Someone thinking about purchasing this guitar can watch this review, get my point of view on what I received, and you, the viewers, your point of view. That's what the description and the chat section down below is all about. Please go down and make a comment. If you own it, we need to hear your point of view and what you found you liked, and even what you didn't dislike, you know, what you disliked about it. Because that person, he's going to want to know, he could be just like you. Maybe he finds the tremolo bar, hits the chord or something, or, you know, the neck profile. It could be, everyone's different and everyone needs as much information as possible to make a decision on purchasing it. Again, please think about subscribing. Hit the little thumbs up button, and we do this every Thursday and every Saturday night. And again, I want to thank everyone that gave a super chat tonight. You guys are awesome. That's what funds this channel. That's what funds guitar giveaways or pedal giveaways or whatever else that we're giving away. Thanks everybody, and I hope to see you guys on Saturday night.